It has come to the attention of many educators and administrators that, as of recent years, we have had steadily declining approval ratings from the community. This lack of approval has been noticed in many ways, such as record low volunteerism at our schools, record low attendance at our parent teacher conferences and back to school nights, and as we witness through the local media, the news has proven that generally speaking, the community does not really like us. I am Michael Meek, and myself, along with a couple others, have come together to reach out to the community because this dislike is starting to hurt our students. Now, we hope through this public service announcement, we hope to explain the need that we all need to work together and how parental and community involvement in education can change lives. To begin, it is important to understand the need for everyone to be active in education. To best describe this, I refer to a popular theory in modern education called the spheres of influence. The spheres of influence are broad and often ill-defined, as many declare there are 3 spheres of influence, and that number ranges all the way up to 7. We reflect on the definition from Joyce L. Epstein, the director of both the Center on School, Family, and Community Partnerships and the National Network of Partnership Schools, and a research professor of education and sociology at Johns Hopkins University. Her definition of the spheres of influence is the partnership of schools, families, and communities as overlapping spheres. The spheres represent that schools, families, and communities each have a stake and influence in the education of a child. The overlap of the spheres represents that the interests and influences of the stakeholders in a child's education are mutual. The International Journal of Education, Policy, and Leadership took a deeper look at the effect of the spheres of influence under more statistical analysis. The study concludes that the spheres work in a sort of layered system. Starting with the community sphere, we build the family sphere, and after the family sphere comes the education sphere. As each sphere builds on the other, the bottom layer is the most influential and the impact decreases going up. With this understanding, we now recognize that if the community is not in support of the educational facilities, then the children won't be. And if the parents don't support education, then the student will be less interested. All of this results in students who do not participate in school and thus drop out or fail. And none of us want that. We want students who are actively engaged in their education, who want to succeed. But what can the community do? What can parents do? Well, here are some studies conducted to answer just how parents can assist their children in education, and how the community can assist parents in education. To start, we will turn to fellow future teacher Katie O'Neill, who will be presenting her findings on parental involvement in education.
Hi, my name is Katie O'Neill, and I'm doing a PSA on why parent involvement in the child's education is important. And after more than 30 years of research and studies, it is proven that the more the parents are involved, the more likely the child will succeed. The research has also shown that children with involved parents get better grades and score higher on their tests. They attend school regularly, have better social skills, will complete their homework assignments, and more positive about school, and are more likely to graduate and go on to a higher education. The research also shows, according to PTO Today, that it does not matter where you are from or how much money you have, that every involved parent can make a difference. And there are many ways as a parent that you can get involved in your child's educational success. You can join a parent group at your child's school, build a relationship with your child's teacher, whether it's using email, handwritten notes, or whatever that works best for both of you. Talk to your child about their day at school, read with your child, and even if your child is older, they can benefit from reading aloud together. Become a homework coach for your child, which is you let the child take the responsibility of their homework, but you make yourself aware of what their assignments are. And you try to keep learning activities and fun at home. Not only will you be sending a positive message to your child when you become involved, but it makes that message say that their education matters to you and that they are important to you. The more you involved into your child's school, the better and stronger advocate you'll become for your child. Now, according to the CDC, in Wyoming, if you start being involved early in your child's education, it can have a pronounced and long-lasting effect. And while in Wyoming, it is recommended that your child be screened by a child development center that's closest to you every year from the birth to the age of 5. And ideally, that being screening done at least once before the age of 2 and at least again before the child is of age of 5. Now, when they screen for your child, it's on the developmental areas such as hearing and vision, communicating, such as how does your child follow directions, how well can your child make him or herself understood, fine motor skills on how your child uses his or her hands to eat or use a crayon, the gross motor skills as how your child moves, climbs, catches a ball, etc. Also, the social emotional skills of how does your child play with other children and interact with adults, how does your child change from one activity to another, and self-help, how does your child take care of him or herself in the areas of eating, dressing, and toileting, and last but not least, the cognitive area, how does your child solve everyday problems. Now, when you go to the Child Development Center, depending on the age of your child, you would receive any number of screening sheets that a trained professional would give to you. And there's the birth to 11 months, 12 to 23 months, a 2-year-old on their own, a 3-year-old on their own, 4 and 5 as well. Now, such questions that they do ask you, for instance, from birth to 11 months would be their fine motor skills. Do they place their fist in their mouth, play with hands and fingers? On language, do they make other sounds other than when they're crying, coos, gurgles, things like that? And then they do a score based on 3 attempts, and it's from whatever you get in the highest that you can score on here is 100. And then it goes on to 12 and 23 months. Language development, if they can point to a cat, identify it by the noise or the picture. And then 2-year-olds, do they know what the objects are? Do they know what a car is, a bed, and other things like that? When you get to a 3-year-old, they want to know if you can identify the colors, if they know their name, how old they are, visual age, such as if they can understand what a circle is, a plus sign, if they can build things, understand concept, and these are simple math, such as if you ask the child to put 3 items on the table and take 2 away, if they know how to do that. And based on once they get to 3, when they go to enter into school, this is a Wyoming requirement to have them be screened. So when they enter preschool, they understand where that child's going to be at. Also, some of the services that the CDC offers to help parents become more involved. If, for instance, your child is on an IEP, an individual education plan, that they can actually assist you and they are funded to help you meet with the child at the school or at the center. And they also give you that parent items to take home to work with that child. I will give you an example after this video of how that is, because personally, my daughter, who's 3, is on an IEP from the CDC to work on her articulation skills, because developmentally, she scored lower on being able to pronounce certain words. And I will, like I said, touch on that a little bit later for you. Now, being involved in your child's life is amazing, and as I have said before, there's great benefits to that. But it's not only just for the child as well. There's according to the PTO today, there's benefits for the parent as well. As a parent, you can become more involved and be more confident at school. And with more involvement, you're more confident in yourself as a parent and your ability to help your child learn. You will end up being held at a higher esteem by the teachers and have teachers expect more from your child. And possibly it can end up leading to you enrolling to further your education as well. Now, what we can gather from this is, as soon as you can, become involved in your child's life, more than just the love and affection. Help them read, help them pronounce things, and it will have massive effects for them, not only in the beginning, but throughout their educational career. This is Katie O'Neill again with their PSA on parent involvement.
Now that Katie has given us a thorough understanding of the importance and implications of parental involvement in a child's education, let's see how she works with her child, as she mentioned.
Okay, so now we are going to work on our scratcher words and our gargle words to help with her articulation, so when she is in school, she is ready. So this is what one of her worksheets look like. There's different items. So we're going to point to them, and then you're going to tell us what they are, aren't you? So what is this?
A cat. Meow.
So we got to use our scratchers. Cat.
Cat.
Good job. What's this?
A cow.
A what?
Cow.
Good job.
Candy.
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 Good job.
Brush, brush, brush.
That's what it does, but it's called a comb.
Comb.
Say comb.
Comb.
Good job.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a cowgirl.
Taco.
Yep. And what's that?
A carrot.
Carrot. High five.
Like that.
What is it?
A kite.
Say kite.
Kite.
Good job.
Like that.
That's a camel.
Candle. Cars. Cool.
Yes, good job. So we call our C's and our K's scratcher words, so that way they know back here to make that noise.
I see the weathers. Hey, what's it out in? I'll hold this one.
And there are other type of words that have a K or a C in it, but they're not necessarily in the beginning. But you still act like they are. So ready? So what is this? What is this?
A duck.
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 Good job. All right. Say, what's this one?
A birthday cake.
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 Good job, Emma Jean. Now we're going to work on our gargle words. Yeah, so a G says g, 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 g. So what is, say gum.
Gum.
Gone.
Gone.
Gift. Get. Close. Oh, gas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, it's orange. We are doing this too.
Yeah. So, how do we say dog?
Go dog.
Dog.
Go dog.
Yeah. And what's your brother's name?
One.
He is one, but what's his name? Is it Gavin?
Gavin.
How do you say it?
Gavin.
Good job. Now say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Say my name is Emma.
My name is Emma.
And I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.
Next, I will be discussing how the community assists in education and the gravity of how impactful the community involvement can be. To begin, I want to reflect on the earlier statements about the spheres of influence. We established that family is significantly more influential on a student than education. But above family is community. Given that community is the most important influence on a student, it is necessary to understand why and how a community can be beneficial in local education systems. To begin, we look at a study done by the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. You see, Athens was becoming distant from the university, and this affected the educational system at all age levels. Recognizing this, the University of Georgia started several programs and events to become more involved in the community. The results were profound. They were able to foster community collaboration that previously had been difficult to achieve and assisting communities in accessing higher education resources. Additionally, the university benefited as it created a seamless transition from community to campus and campus to community. Many also don't realize just how important a school may be on the community. An established published by Education Policy Analysis Archives researched the aftermath of dozens of schools that were closing down all across the Midwestern United States. Many communities were gravely affected as out of nowhere, hundreds and thousands of students suddenly had no future of receiving an education, at least not without traveling a distance to another school in another city. In the investigation, however, there was one particular story that stuck. One community posted on local media news, "We felt they took the heart out of the community." And this became the awakening cry that spurred the community into action. And through fundraising, speeches, and countless volunteer hours spent, the community managed to reopen 3 schools, one elementary, one junior high, and one high school. These real-life stories tell the real-life truth that schools need communities, and communities need schools. Now we will discuss how to ensure that schools are using the communities to the fullest. Well, for that, we will refer to another future teacher who has researched this topic.
Hello, I am Chloe Reifon, and I'm here to explain how schools can use their community resources. There are many ways to use community resources in school. Today, I'm going to talk about 3. The first one I am going to address is field trips around the community. Not only do students love them, but they also introduce students to their community. Going on field trips to the public library is a great way to start. Doing so can teach students about the amazing things that their library provides and how they can use it on their own time. Field trips around the community, like going to the library, gives students an in-depth experience on how to utilize resources in their community to their benefit. The second community resource that I am going to address is bringing the community into the schools. Having people from the community, such as doctors, cops, and authors, come into the school and explain their experiences in life and in their career can inspire students and help them see what kind of jobs are out there in their community, and may even introduce students to the career that they want to pursue. The third way that you can use community resources in school is by asking for donations. Having the students go out into the community and asking for donations gives them an opportunity to see what their community is made out of and help them reach their goals in school, such as getting new jerseys for their team or raising money for a certain charity event. Schools can use these community resources to ensure that their students get a good education and that they have good community resources to help them in the future.
This video is made to serve the purpose of informing everyone. This is not just our community, but communities everywhere, for families everywhere, and for schools everywhere, as everyone plays a part in education. We decide the path of education. We decide if students will be involved or if they will let the time they spend in school just go to waste. It is time we work together to secure our future, for it is best said that the future of the world is in the classroom today.